mic's not on.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now? I see the audio thingy's going.
Yeah, okay.
Lols.
That's our bad.
We didn't turn on the microphone.
That's hilarious.
At least nobody else was there. Same
this
here.
This is so bad.
Oh my god, is that Pete?
Yay! We love Pete.
Pete, you're supposed to be at work.
No, he worked night shift.
Well, that's true.
Remember, he got home
Then you should be sleeping.
Yeah, also, why are you awake, Pete?
Okay, so y'all missed a really funny interaction.
Yay.
Hello again. We're streaming. We're
Second
here.
time around. Second time.
Second episode and second try of the second episode.
Yeah, all in 5 minutes. We screwed up.
All in 5
a couple
minutes.
times.
That's okay. This is kind of our lives here.
That's not the human condition.
So what you missed is we were talking for some reason about Ali not puking last time.
Sympathy puker.
Yes.
That's what we determined.
And then that evolved into that scene in Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah, that was what was running through my mind.
And then that evolved into what happened to Alison Stoner from that movie.
Yeah.
And turns out she was in a Missy Elliott video.
That's where she made her big break as a dancer.
And that video was...
Pull my thang down, flip it, and reverse it.
And
That's
then
probably
I said...
copyright
And then I said that line from that song is how I teach other people to knit. Because you... If it's worth it, let me work it. You put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah.
And that is... it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny.
Yep.
At least in my opinion, if you
the
can't
way
my
our
kind of
brains
humor.
work is just very interesting.
And so
The streams we follow.
the streams we follow. But sometimes like phonetic reminders are really helpful. Like I cannot remember for the life of me how to do the make one left and the make one right.
Yeah.
If I don't repeat
Make
to
one
myself.
right through the rear.
That's kind of graphic. I hate it.
But it's right rear, so you go in through the back of the stitch.
Well, what I was going to say is I got stuck with the way that Stephen West teaches it.
Right.
Which is make one right, I'll be right back. So right back.
Okay.
And make one left, I left the front door open. So you go through the front.
That's too many words.
I know.
Dude.
It's
Too
so
many
annoying,
words.
but now it's like ingrained in my mind and I
Yeah.
can't think about it any other way.
Okay, fair.
But I do repeat it to myself quietly when I'm doing increases.
See, I don't do any of that. Like, I don't have
No
any of that.
mnemonics
For me,
or
it's
anything?
100%
Phonetics?
visual. I need to see it. I can watch a video 50,000 times. I don't care what they say in the video. I only care about what I see. I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
So, like, if I see it being done, I mean, sure, if I understand a pattern, that's fine. But I remember when I was doing the gentleman's cardigan, just, like, understanding some of the ways to, like...
Brioche on over
yeah,
brioche,
well,
whatever.
not even that, but, like, the special techniques that he was using. And I remember having to look at a video that he posted just to understand how the pieces felt like fit together because he explained it in the pattern, but reading it didn't help me. I needed to see it.
You're a visual learner.
Yeah, 100%.
Same.
Is that scientifically backed? The learning styles?
No idea.
Zero clue.
I'm not sure.
Make one right equals rear. Yes, Vanessa. Yes, you and me, V.
Right equals rear.
See? This is why we're going on vacation together. We understand each other. You're just along for fun.
Yeah,
She is.
I am. I think I was telling someone else who's invited me to go camping with them, and I'm really glad that they thought about me. But I told them, listen, you're gonna have to do everything about this trip because I'm just cargo with a sense of humor.
This is the best
I will laugh at you.
possible way to describe
I'll
it.
be the comedic relief.
Oh my gosh.
But I
yes.
100% cannot help you with the camping part.
Hey,
you're
being
lucky if I
upfront about
survive.
it is good, right? Being upfront about it that's what you want.
Yeah, and I
Right?
think, I wanted to get that out of the way because I would really love to go camping. It's a really nice experience.
Yeah.
I just don't have the skills and the equipment necessary to contribute to it. So just pick me up.
Look,
So
there's
you're
a bunch
just
of,
along for the ride.
you know
I'm just
what would
along
be
for
so
the ride.
cute though? There's a bunch of people in our knit night who enjoy camping. I am not one of them. I don't like the outdoors. But there's a bunch of people in our knit night who do enjoy camping, who do have all of this stuff and enjoy it. And I think you should organize a knitting camping retreat.
You want me to organize a camping trip?
I think you should put it out in the group and let somebody else take the reins.
Cargo. Sense of humor. No, I'm not organizing this. Can you imagine? Like,
Pete,
we wouldn't eat.
Pete, she humbly asks you, Pete. And Sherry.
I would trust
our
Pete and
camping
Sherry.
champions. Like, come on, guys.
100%.
And again, for the record, I'm not going to be there because I hate the outdoors.
Is it the plugs for you?
All of it. Oh my gosh. Have I ever told you about how I was absolutely eaten alive one night when I was camping as a kid?
No.
Never tell you this?
No.
So when I was 12 or 13, my parents sent us to sleepaway camp 2 years in a row. So much fun. Camp Kuchaching.
Terrible movie, by the way, Sleepaway Camp.
Is it? I've never seen it.
Don't watch it.
Either way, camping was not camping, going to sleepaway camp, so much fun. It was great. We loved it. But you do these things called out trip where you, because the camp we were at was right near Algonquin Park, I think. Mm-hmm. It's up near Aurelia. Mm-hmm. And so we did this out trip where everybody in my cabin got together and we canoed up the river from where our camp was to go camping on the shores of the lake, just us, in tents, not actually in cabins, an actual porta potty. It was, the barest of bare bones. And one of my cabin mates and I, Bryn, we decided we want to sleep out under the stars because we had some really clear weather when we were on out trip.
Ooh.
We were 13, okay? We were young and stupid. And so that's what we did. We slept on the rocky verge at the edge of our camp right over the water.
Yeah.
And we got
Mosquito City.
Fully eaten alive. Both of us were wearing long sweat pants and long sleeve shirts, and we zipped up our sleeping bags all the way, pulled the drawstring closed at the top so we were fully encased in them, and yet still the number of mosquitoes that got in. We spent the entirety of the next day in the lake because our skin was
the only
covered.
thing that kept you from scratching.
We were covered. Poor Bryn, I remember at one point one of the counselors leaned over and started counting on her back how many bites she had, and in an inch by inch square she had 13 bites in an inch by inch square, right? And then the poor kid, oh my god, she fell asleep in a hammock later that day because we were so exhausted because we didn't sleep because the buzzing was so intense that she ended up getting bitten by a horsefly in the hammock. And it was worse.
Oh, those are awful.
It was so bad.
So those, they don't just
never gotten bitten by a horsefly.
And so a horsefly literally takes a chunk.
Yeah, it bites. They've got teeth.
It's a tiny little piece, but it's still much
and
more of a
strong. And the bump
is
the size of a loony is what it leaves behind the bump. Yeah. And so now even the sound of buzzing of flies, mosquitoes that's traumatizing to me.
Okay.
And I mean, I get it.
Yeah, it was so bad. I think I can't remember if it was that night or the night after that I had a seizure at camp. And they were like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have let you sleep outside and get covered in bug bites. Hindsight. Also, to be fair.
Hindsight 2020.
To be fair, my epilepsy wasn't we didn't have it under control at that time.
Yeah.
It was still pretty new in my diagnosis. But yeah, it was not great. So,
Woo!
But that's okay.
It's funny because
now I know. I just don't go outside.
For when it comes to mosquitoes,
indoor alley cat.
When it comes to mosquitoes, I'm the complete opposite.
You don't get
They
bitten?
hate me. But
must be nice.
No, well, it's nice except for I didn't know this when I was younger. So we would go to camps or whatever, and everybody would get bitten and be I'd get one bite. Or I think I got bit by a horsefly once, and then mosquitoes maybe But I realize this thing: if I'm with someone else, I don't get bitten at all.
But if
they don't look at me. I don't exist.
Lucky.
But if I'm by myself, I'll be one or two bites, right? Just it's they're trying, they're ew, and then they walk away. So, and I shit you not, once I saw a mosquito land on my arm, and I was about to kill it, and it didn't do anything. It just flew off. So it kind of
it just checked it out and it was
it's it tapped. It was no.
What is that?
I'm do I taste this bad? This is awful. I don't feel great right now. It's how to know you're
Yikes.
how way to hit my self-esteem. Mosquitoes don't even want to get.
I wonder if it works with vampires too. If vampires are nah.
But apparently, I read recently. I don't know how true this is, but apparently, certain blood types are more mosquitoes are attracted to certain blood types more than others. And I'm assuming they don't like my blood type.
I'm assuming mine's pretty.
But it also has to do with what you eat.
Because it's blood type. There's hormone levels. Sweat can be attracted. The color blue apparently is an attractant to mosquitoes. There's studies.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
So what you're saying is, do not wear this in the forest.
I would not wear this
mosquitoes
outside.
to eat
I'm
you.
already sweating and I've been wearing it for 10 minutes.
It's beautiful though.
It is. It's gorgeous.
I love it.
This is the sweater that I was working on the last time we were on the stream. At the very end, it is the Paloma by Espace Tricot.
May I pet you? Ooh.
It is so soft. Like I can't.
Oh my god, the
enough.
sleeves
Yeah.
are
they're
so...
really nice.
There's no shaping. There's no, it's just a tube and then you do
But
the
it
ribbing.
kind of looks like a bell sleeve.
I know, I love it. I'm not normally a bell sleeve kind of human, but like,
It's
me
so
likey.
nice.
I'm here for
It's
it.
very cute, very cute.
It's very comfortable, and I like it too because it means there's airflow in the sleeves. But I was wearing it at work the other day, and I was trying to eat lunch, and it was like 3 bites, and then I'd have to roll them up again, and then 3 bites, and then I'd have to push them up again.
Right.
And eventually I was like, screw it, and I just took off my sweater to eat my lunch. And I put it back on after.
Yeah.
That's
But,
okay.
yeah.
I gotta get it.
You can do the thing where you just like take off the neck and keep the sleeves on. And so it's like on your back.
But it wasn't the like warmth of it that was the problem. It was the fact that they kept sliding down as I was eating because there's no shaping to them. And the ribbing is done on the same size needle as the body. And so, yeah. Oh,
It just adds to the Cookie Monster chic.
that's what I was going for.
style.
Unintentionally going for. Okay, funny story. When I was like 21, 22, I dressed up as Cookie Monster for Halloween because I had a blue dress, exactly this color, and I picked an old t-shirt and I literally cut circles out of it to make the eyes and the mouth. One guess where the eyes went on my body. One guess. Probably not safe for YouTube, so I won't point, but anyway.
Very Regina George.
Very Regina George. And so after I finished this and I tried it on after I had done it, but before I blocked it, I was like, Cookie Monster makes a return.
The category is Sesame Street.
Oh my god.
So at Halloween, I may just show up to work with some not safe for work things pinned to the front of
I could make you a crochet applique of a chocolate chip cookie. I could make you like
so nice.
Oh my
2 or
God.
3.
That would be so funny.
Because then you could just like pin it to the sweater.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Well, I think you got your Halloween costume.
Let's see if we remember by the time October rolls around. It's so
That's
far
true.
away.
I know.
But I do have something I want to say about this in regards to the knitting. I didn't swatch. I did not swatch. And I feel vindicated in that decision because the gauge of my sleeves and of the body and of the yoke are 3 different gauges.
I too like to live dangerously.
So I would just like to say a big old fudgesicle you to the swatches of the world.
Yeah. Swatches lie.
Yes, they do.
Swatches lie, and I don't appreciate that.
Nope. 0% acceptable.
Well, it's like we mentioned before, right? It's not the same because you're like the weight of the garment is different before and after you block it.
That's
and
right.
The you know, like it's just it can help 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've only done one in my life or twice.
Swatch?
None of the ones that I've done have been equal to
Were
the
like-
gauge I got on the finished project.
Exactly.
None of
I've
them.
made swatches
And then I got bored.
when I've tested patterns for designers because it's required.
Yeah.
And
Okay, that's different.
I'm a stickler for the rules.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the swatches added 0 value.
Yeah,
to
because like the sweater that
make
you
it-
originally made with this yarn, you swatched for.
I did.
And that crochet was not at all like your swatch.
Absolutely 0 like the
Which is
swatch.
why it's now in this t-shirt and not
Because I
in that
undid
sweater.
it.
Yeah.
I learned some lessons from that test knit. Number 1, this yarn is not slippy. So crochet really requires your stitches to have some flexibility and movement within the stitch.
Yeah.
So if the yarn is rustic or if it's sticky or toothy, it instead of the stitches remaining keeping their flexibility, they just stretch in between the stitches.
And
And
then
you get
end up with
holy
holes?
fabric, or you get a really stiff placemat instead. So that's not a great idea if you're doing colorwork crochet.
Yeah.
I would have much preferred to make, that's okay.
So
I would have much preferred to make that same pattern, which the pattern was incredible, by the way. It was the All-Star Sweater by
Stephanie Aaron?
Stephanie Aaron. Excellent.
Beautiful
excellent
designs.
pattern. Beautiful design. I would have much preferred to follow her recommendations and do it in a slippy merino
Because what is
fingering weight.
this? What yarn is this?
This is Barocco Remix. So there is some wool in it, but there's also some plant fibers.
Oh, it's a mix. Oh, is it recycled fibers?
It's recycled fibers.
That
Now,
makes sense. That actually makes
Second thing, this is a fragile yarn. because it's...
Sorry, I just need to pop in. My sister just messaged me saying, that's not my crop top.
What you're knitting right now?
Sorry, Meg. It's too complicated to do while talking.
Cracking the whip.
You just love that.
Get back to studying. No, I'm joking. I love you. But, okay, hold on.
See, this is why you don't promise people what you're going to knit for them, because then they're waiting on it. My friend Geronimo asked me 8 years ago, to make him a crochet amigurumi of Spider-Man. And I never did it.
Yeah.
Because he kept asking me frequently, where's my Spider-Man? Where's my Spider-Man? And I'm like, okay, well, I was going to make it, but then you asked me to do it, and now that just added another 5 years.
Passive aggressiveness.
Yeah. Like, that just added another 5 years.
Because I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I just like to, honestly, I feel for me, it's like, I just like to surprise them. So I'd much rather not tell anybody I'm doing something, and then do it, and then, here you go. Obviously, it's, you know, I try to make sure it's someone who wants a knitted project at least.
For sure.
And if I'm not sure, then I go for something small.
Yeah.
This way, you know, if they're not necessarily knit worthy, then I didn't spend like 5 years doing something.
What does it mean to you for someone to be knit worthy?
Honestly, look, you don't necessarily have to be someone who loves yarn and like all things knitting. Absolutely not. But at least to show appreciation for what the craft is. And by that, I mean, and to be fair, a lot of the people in my life who are knit worthy are people who do other types of crafts.
Yeah,
whether
they
it's like
understand
drawing, jewelry making.
The time and the effort required.
Yeah, like any kind of thing where you're making something. So they understand the value. Like they understand how much you know, like how much the material costs. They may not know exactly, but they'll know that, okay, it costs a certain amount. They know how much hours you may have put in. They know the research. Exactly. So even if it's not necessarily something they're like 100% obsessed with, and oh my God, like this sweater is amazing. Maybe not, but they're knit worthy because they respect the craft and they understand like what it was like for you to make it.
Yeah.
That to me is the most important thing. And I have a lot of people in my life that are 100% knit worthy and don't knit at all. And that's very fair, right? Yeah. And then I have others where I've tried or I've given them, and they're the ones who asked me to make something for them. That's the funny part, is that in the cases where I was like, this is not someone I would knit something else for again, they were people who had asked me. And then when I gave it to them, the response was very, like, just, okay.
Thanks.
Like, thank you. And then I never saw them wear it. I never heard from it again. I never, and then I'm like, well, versus the other people that I've given something, I see them wear it. I see them try it. I see them, you know, I see them using it. So at least I know it's, you know, so if you just grab it and put it in a closet somewhere and forget about it.
Used.
I think for me, the stakes get so much higher when I'm giving a handmade gift that I don't think it's personally worth it, because of the same thing that you were mentioning, Carine, is in like, if I made it with my hands and it took me 74 hours and hundreds of dollars in materials that I picked because they were luxurious and good for the person, I have so much higher expectations to get in return from that person as opposed to having given them something store-bought, right? Yeah. Where if I give you a gift, like, I don't know, if I bought you a notebook or a pair of socks from a market that I didn't make, I absolutely give 0 Fs if you wear it in front of me, if you send me a picture, you know, if you tell me that you love it, I don't care, because the act of gift giving is done, and for me that's enough. But when the gift is handmade by me, I have this inner anxiety of like, did they really like it? I spent all that time, what if I didn't really like it? And like, you know, so I feel like the stakes are so much higher, it's not worth it for me. I will say, however, I made a Musselburgh hat for a friend, and I gave it to her. And the first thing she did was, like, with doughy eyes and a big old smile, she said, how do I take care of this?
Oh,
so that is 100%.
Exactly what Vanessa just chimed in saying, I feel you figure out if someone's knit worthy only after you make them an item first and you go by their reaction.
Exactly.
And that right there is the reaction
and I was
you're
like,
looking for.
You get it. You get it, Mama. You get it.
Yeah.
Because she's like, okay, this is special. It's something that I'm not used to, and I want to treasure it, so tell me how to take good care of it. Yeah. And I did, and it was such a quick interaction, and it doesn't matter if she ever wears a hat. It doesn't matter if I see her wear the hat. That
but
little
it's that
interaction
respect for the
was
craft.
enough.
Yeah, it's that
right?
respect for the craft and the
Exactly.
product and your time. Like,
Yeah.
And it's just the usage of it. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. To me, somebody who's knitworthy is someone like my sister, Meg, who wears holes in the socks that I give them because they wear them so much.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a sign.
that's like love right
exactly.
there.
It's like they recognize that this is something that, you know, I put time and effort into, and then they actually use it.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to just say thank you, this is amazing, and then be afraid to use it. But that makes me sad. Like I can knit more
I
socks.
would exactly.
Right?
I would
Like,
much
can
rather
knit more
you
stuff.
wear this until like it falls
Yeah.
apart than you just like. I get it. Like
Yeah.
it's beautiful and you don't want. Like,
I've
I can
reknit the
understand
toes
that.
on a couple of pairs of socks that I've gifted. But
Yeah,
like
that's the
it
thing, right?
took me like, you know, an afternoon to reknit the toes, and boom, they get a second life with the person who received them. Like it's great. I think Meg is really liking the shout outs. She's blowing up my phone. But yeah, no, it's hey, sometimes as Vanessa said, you have to gift something first to see how they react.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
true.
you'll get there in terms of whether or not they're knitworthy.
So I guess the lesson here is if you don't know if someone's knitworthy, make them something like that you didn't work that hard on it.
Or something small, like
Don't
a
go
hat
for
or a
lace,
pair of
don't go
socks.
for cables.
Like let
Yeah.
them borrow a sweater and see how they do.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
I love my sweaters. There's no way I would ever
Oh,
do
I don't
that.
know
You're
about
like,
that.
No.
Oh, I don't know
These
about
are
that.
my babies.
I feel like I would. I don't know if I would lend out like my most favoritist sweater, but if somebody was like, "Oh my god, I'm cold. Can I borrow something?" I'd be like, "Put this on."
Oh, for sure. Okay,
and,
yeah.
And
Okay,
see,
yeah.
I thought
see-
you meant like
not like-
take it away for a couple months and then bring it back.
No. I like in the day, moment of, couple of hours,
Gotcha.
and see if they're like, "Oh, I should take this off to eat," or like, "Oh, you know, I spilled something on me. Oh well, whoops!" Like that kind of level of
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if they spilled something, then I could just snow bathe my knits and then they'd be fine.
Mhm.
So
Snow bathe your knits.
yeah,
This is a lovely term.
have you not heard? Okay.
I think I saw a TikTok
okay,
of someone
so
snow
cool.
snow washing.
Wool is really cool because not only is it like, is it antibacterial or antimicrobial? I can never remember. But anyway, the way the fibers are, the way they're structured, the way they work, they're like water resistant naturally because of the lanolin that's inherent in the wool. That's the oil that's produced by the sheep to keep the fibers warm and dry so that the sheep stays warm and dry. And as such, when you like process wool to get superwash wool, or if you don't process it and you have non-superwash wool, it means that when you want to clean your knits, you can do one of two things. You can throw it in the freezer for a couple of days. That'll get rid of all the odors. Or if it's snowing out where you are, lay your knitwear like on the snowbank and let it snow on top of it for a couple of hours. And then if you have like any stains or anything, just like rub the snow into it and let it kind of get saturated a little bit, and then it'll come out. Because of the way, like,
And you don't have to reblock it because it doesn't
no,
get fully
exactly.
wet.
You just like you bring it inside, you lay it on your radiator or like on your clothesline to dry, and then boom, you've like removed oils, you've removed stains, you've removed
Okay, I
odors,
like that.
and you can just use snow. So if you are too in a cold climate, like we are here in Ottawa, Canada, take advantage of your snowbank. Make sure it's one the dog has not peed on.
If
Do not
the
recommend
snow
that.
is yellow, don't do it.
No,
Yeah.
don't eat it, don't use it.
Don't. Have you
it.
have you ever done the thing where you spray a garment with alcohol?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah. Oh, we've got a couple of other.
Mateo says he takes the other one home, wrapped for your youngest brother.
Hypothetical situation. You made both of your brothers an oats cowl for Christmas. One of them reacts pretty neutrally, but does ask how to care for it, and he takes the other one home, wrapped for your younger brother. Ooh.
The youngest brother doesn't react until you ask him directly, and then says thanks.
And then he wore it on a date.
I mean,
That's cute.
I think that's high praise if you wear a handmade item on a date. As in,
Yeah.
like, hello, I'm a really worldly person. I wear items that were uniquely made for me.
Correct,
Yeah, it gives me that.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
this
very
is
high
designed
fashion.
for me.
Yeah, high fashion.
Yeah. I'm going to say that your oldest brother, who asked how to care for it and then took it home, and then the older brother complains that you didn't make it in his favorite color. Okay, never mind, I take it back.
He's not getting another cowl.
That's it.
I feel like it's one thing to ask somebody to make you something and be like, this is the color of my closet, because you want the person to receive it to wear it. So
Yeah.
like to have it blend into their closet makes sense.
Yeah.
But then to make them something and for them to be like, well, you didn't make it my favorite color. I'm like, that just seems a little selfish.
But also,
like,
okay.
Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, maybe keep that to yourself. And the next time they ask if you're interested in receiving something, then state, oh, I love navies, I love greens, I love reds. Or like, oh, my coat is black, maybe something bright colored.
Yeah, if anything, this would be a lesson as the receiver of the knitting project. That would be a lesson of like, next time I should probably mention what color I want it in or what color palette I like, right? So that...
You can let people pick.
But I also think selfishness goes both ways here because as the maker, I've personally made the mistake of getting super excited about a pattern and then picking colors that I like in a texture that I like in a and making it because I thought it was fun and I thought it was good and it was a level up item for me and then getting super excited about the end result and giving it to someone, not thinking about what that person actually likes.
But what if you don't know?
But if you don't know, then why are you making the person a handmade item in the first place, right? Like, and I think there's something to be said about like, sure, as a receiver, it is our responsibility to accept handmade gifts with grace and accept them for what they are and take into account the effort and the time that somebody put into it. But as the gift givers, it's also our responsibility to make things for other people that they actually want. And not just make things because you like them.
Yeah. Because the thing is, it's also not everybody is into, like, that
not
kind of gift.
Not everybody's going to like it.
So, and
like,
that's
there's people
fair.
that don't like knitted items.
Yeah. And it's like, it breaks my heart sometimes when I hear stories of, like, people who gifted something, like a knitted project or any craft, but let's take knitting for an example, and just, like, you know, they gift it to someone without really thinking, like, they didn't ask this person, right, what they wanted. They thought it was a nice gift, but they didn't think about the person that was receiving the item. And maybe this person, I don't know, they're not into knitting or they're not, and then they feel like, oh, like, they feel like it's a personal attack. But you didn't ask them if they wanted the knitted project.
Exactly.
So you have to think, like, and I agree 100%. I was raised this way. If I get a gift, whether I like it or not, I'm going to accept it with respect and grace. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to mention it to them. You know, at least not in their face. But
because there's no reason to say like, oh, I hate it.
Sarah's coming in with a hot take that I really like. I'm a big believer that a handmade gift shouldn't be a surprise. I can get
100%.
with that. I'm with it. Actually, that's not a hot
100%.
take. That's a really good idea.
It really shouldn't be a surprise. No.
Like, for me, it's a surprise when the people I'm knitting for have already received something from me. So I know how what their reactions are. And usually the surprise isn't so much the project. Well, I mean, it'll be like the project, but I already know what kind of yarn they like. I like what kind of colors they like. Yeah. I know who this person, like, what kind of thing they want.
I like to ask a ton of questions before I make something, and I always try to not be...
To run the pattern and the yarn by the recipient before you buy anything. Especially whether or not they want to take care of it. Yeah!
That's
because what if their lifestyle just doesn't accommodate for hand washing and snow rubbing?
And what if this is for kids? Like, you don't want to have to, you know, this should be something you can wash in the...
Plus, then the receiver gets to be excited during the process. That's my
true.
sister.
They get to be excited.
And they also get to harass you about it, too.
Yeah,
yep.
Crack the whip.
Yep. Oh my God. Sorry.
Keep cracking the whip.
Yeah. No, don't tell her that.
Yeah, I think it gives you motivation.
Not me. It scares me a little bit. My sister's taller than me. She's scary. Yeah, the cowls were surprises, and I agree that I could have avoided the color issue. My youngest brother got my middle brother's favorite color had I talked to them. Well, we've all learned something here.
Yeah,
exactly. And look, at the end of the day, it's still a gift, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. And if you loved making it,
that's what
and you're a process knitter,
does
it matter if the person that received it, wears it a lot? No, because I already enjoyed the process, and I am already satisfied with the result. I gave it to someone else, and it's up to them what they do with it. Don't tell me to my face that you don't like it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
that's where I draw the line.
Like there's a certain like risk, like, not, it's not just respect, it's just like good manners, right? Like, if you receive, and it goes for anything. You know how many times one of my aunts gave me scented candles for Christmas as a Christmas gift?
When have you ever lit a candle in your apartment?
So, my point exactly. But, like, I was a teenager back then, and it was essentially, I think she genuinely had no idea what to get someone of my age. So she just gave me like year after year, I think like 5 years in a row, was like a scented candle with like some kind of like candle holder, and I was like, thanks. And I would never be like, ew, that's awful. I would just like, thank you, that's great. And then I'd be like, and then I go to my mom like, why? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I guess this is where we are.
I had an aunt that was notorious for giving bad gifts, but her heart was always in the right place.
That's the thing, right?
She didn't have the skills to pick a good gift. So for one Christmas when I was like 8 or 9, she gave me a little calculator. You pressed a button and it opened up and it had a little mirror on it. And
that's
I don't know how to feel
weirdest
about that.
Combination of like, why
I
would
don't
have,
think
what's
I've
the
ever
point?
gotten. Well, I have gotten a worse gift than that.
I feel like that's like there's stereotypes that are being leaned into.
I feel like that was just like a panic gift.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's December 23. I have to do something now.
This is why I like to do my gift shopping all year round. When I'm out and about and I see something that I know someone in my bubble likes, I buy it.
Yes.
And then around the middle of November, when I'm like, I look in my drawer of gifts and I'm like, oh, I'm good, never mind. Because I do the same thing with my knits that I make that I don't make for myself.
That's right.
I put them in a bucket, and then when it's time to give someone a gift, I'm like, would you like this? And then they can say yes or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for like I think
take
for
a dip in the
me it's the
pressure
same.
off.
I do exactly that.
Takes the pressure off.
That and going through like all the freaking Christmas markets. That, you know, that I
do love a good artisan market.
I love a
go
Christmas
to.
market.
The freaking best.
So, should we talk about what we're knitting? Just
sure.
Because
What
I
are
kind
you
of have
making?
a little question.
Yes.
Go for it.
So I just started, shout out to Vanessa, because it's because of her. I just started the outline tee because yours looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
And I kind of want to just like, you know,
I
get
wanna be like
a little bit of that fantastic in here. And I have these colors. So this here. Blue right here that I'm using.
Beauty.
Here. This is the yarn. This is Tencel, and then I'm going to transition, or at least that's the idea here. I'm transitioning with this. You can't really see it on camera, but it's essentially like
it's like a muted rainbow.
Yeah, it's like a very like pastel-y rainbow.
So shiny.
Thingy. It's super nice and shiny. So, and what I'm thinking of doing is knitting all the way up to like the mid part, just like, before you start
shaping for the
neck,
and then like just transition, but I don't want it to be like line by line. I'd rather like ombre, or like really. So I don't know how to do that personally. Like I don't know if it's like I start with every 3 rows I introduce one of these. Every 3 stitch. I introduce one of these, and then every 2 stitch and every stitch.
Well, you're already working. So you're doing the Tencel held double. So you have two strands right now on the go. I would say use that and don't try to do it with like stranded color work, because the Tencel's not going to play well with that stranded color work because it doesn't stretch, right?
Okay.
So if you do that, you're going to end up with awkward puckering that you're not going to be able to block out. If you do any kind of stranded,
would it be nice to just use one of this?
So what you
and
could,
then one of the other for like a few rows?
Do a mixed marl in the middle section.
Oh,
so do that. Like, for example, you're working with 2 strands of blue, then do 1 round of blue and rainbow, then 1 round of double blue, then 1 round of blue and rainbow, and then 2 rounds of 1. And then there's lots of good patterns and designers out there who have like instructions on how to do a fade.
Like a comfort fade cardi.
Andrea Mowry, queen of fades.
There's also the Le Pouf.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a free pattern, and they have done the math on how to.
Park and Knit, I think. Le Pouf.
I'm not. I don't remember.
I'll link it in the description later.
But Le Pouf has that math figured out.
The Aquamar line as well.
The Aquamar line
that's Park
as
Williams.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they tell you when to change colors so that it's like a even ombre.
So it'll be like a 20-row set of stripes that you're doing strategically to fade from one color into the other.
Okay.
And so what you can do is by using the double stripes, those 2 fades can be, you know, the double blue or the blue and the rainbow until you get to the section where you're doing, say, blue, 2 rainbow, or even if you wanted to do a block of the double rainbow and then fade into. Sorry, do a block of the blue and the rainbow, and then fade from the blue and rainbow to the double rainbow.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so you end up with 3 sections of color. So you do blue,
blue,
blue rainbow, then fade, and then full rainbow at the top.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you have a lot of room to play with. These skeins of tencel are like 800 yards each.
Oh, yeah.
So you do have a lot of room to play with. And in my experience, I've made a couple of garments with tencel. 2 skeins is more than enough, and you have 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the thing. Yeah,
and hopefully. Like another thing that we just said that gauges like lie and we don't like them. For sizing. But in this case, I think a color swatch.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it.
Just to test out how it's going to look, because one thing
that I'm super...
like it. Yeah, I might.
You might not like it.
Might not
and
like
I
it.
think
I doubt it.
The main difference is when I've seen patterns that are very nicely faded, they have the purl side on the outside.
Yeah.
And that's because the pearls have sort of like a half stitch per line. And so when you're marling, it looks more blended because it's like one.
And honestly, like I don't really mind if it's not like super seamless. Like at the end of the day, the colors are similar enough that even if it's not 100% seamless, it still looks really good together.
Yeah,
so
and you may even find that you would rather do it without the fading and just have it as like color blocks. And like have that
striped blocks?
Yeah, so you have the blue, and then you have the blue and rainbow block, and then you have the rainbow block. And so it is maybe more of a harsher line where the colors change.
But it looks intentional.
Yeah. You might find you prefer that to having the fading stripes in from one color to another.
That's
really good tips for stash busting as well.
Marling.
Yeah, that's true.
Marl your yarns.
Yep. And there's lots of designers out there who have really leaned into that as like part of their design ethos.
True.
Like Stephen West, for example, he has so many patterns meant to be stash busting, meant to be marled. You can, I feel like that's a what's the word I'm looking for? A filter that you can put on Ravelry if that's accessible to you, Ravelry.
Stash?
Multiple strands or marling.
Yes. If on Ravelry, if you're able to use it, one of the categories for filters is yarn held together.
Yes, yeah.
So it's not called marl, but it's still the same thing, yarn held together. So you can do that if you want to use up your single skeins of fingering weight or to do something bulky. Are you knitting from stash right now?
Yes, actually I am. Oh, you caught me mid-row. So this is kind of a funny story. This is, you may have to hold up this end, Carine.
Ooh.
So this is a big old triangle shawl.
This
is it.
Massive.
Okay. I'm literally in the middle of a row here. This is yarn that's a complete mystery to me.
It feels toothy.
I'm 95% certain my Ishnan auntie gifted it to me maybe around the time my grandmother passed away in 2017. I'm not certain. You know, we love Ishnan auntie. She's the best. Pretty sure she gifted it to me. I don't know what it is. It feels like it might be like an alpaca or a camel or something. Well, maybe not alpaca. It's not that soft. But it
has
but I
some
see
like
what you mean. It has
wiry strands, and the staple's pretty short.
Yeah, it's
like obviously you can't see it, but
I don't think it's sheep's wool. I think it's another.
Does it have a scent?
Well, this has been in a bag for years, so that's lost. It's gone. I could do a burn test on. I might do a burn test later.
It could be yak.
Oh, it could be yak.
Or a llama or something.
I don't know. Either way, whatever it is, mystery yarn. It came in a set of colors. There was these 3, the dark brown, the middle brown, and the light brown, and then there was those 2 marled skeins that I gave you.
That I'm using for an Alex scarf.
Yeah. And I cast this on in like September of 2020. I have a very distinct memory of sitting outside a previous workplace working on it. And I'm like, because of where I was sitting when I was working on it, I can date it to September 2022. September 2020. And it went into hibernation for like 2 years. And now I'm in this, I have a bar cart from IKEA. It's got all of my projects on it in my project bags. And it is like overflowing. Like I move it, something falls off. So now I'm like, girl, you cannot have 18 whips.
Yes, you can. Do whatever you want.
You can.
Okay, Liv! Allie cannot have 18 whips. She's getting decision paralysis. So now I went through and I frogged a couple of things that I didn't want to keep. And then last year in July, I did a Just Do It July, where I finished a couple of things.
I love that.
And I think I might do that again this year, Just Do It July. And so I didn't start anything new in that month, and I just worked on the things that I had and like made progress on some stuff, finished a couple, and it was great. And so this is one that I'm literally so close. This is how much yarn I have left. It's a freaking little tiny nugget. There's nothing left. So I am working on this one, and I want to finish this one before I can cast on something new.
Yeah.
Because I really want to get it off my needles. And this is, to circle back to where we were earlier, when it's done, it's gonna go into my gift bin. I will offer it to my auntie because I'm pretty sure she was the one who gave me the yarn. And if she's interested in having it, 1000% it will be hers.
Yeah,
if she's not interested, that's totally fine. I will put it back in the gift bin and it will find a home in the future.
And that's really cute because we're starting from the assumption that she likes this yarn because she bought it for herself.
No, she doesn't knit. She doesn't knit. So, okay, I have this thing that happens regularly, and I'm sure a lot of other knitters and makers do, where somebody finds out that you knit.
And they start giving you
And then they start giving you stuff. Yes. And then your family members tell other people that you have a knitter in their family. Yeah. And that, so another one of my aunts is a dental hygienist. And a couple of years ago, she's like, oh, I have something for you. And I'm like, what is it? And she's like, here. And it was this huge bag of, I don't even know what mystery, like acrylic yarn. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, one of my patients, her mother passed away and she doesn't knit or make anything. So I was like, oh, my niece knits. And she gave me this like garbage bag full of yarn. I ended up donating it because I didn't know what to do with it.
There's
and
no possible way you can go through all of it.
Yeah. And so, but I was just like, okay, so it was my aunt's patient's mother who passed away.
Okay.
Like that was the chain of connection.
That's the chain.
And so, you just collect yarn unintentionally as a maker.
I mean, it is a pretty, like, the second people know that you knit, it's an easy thing to, like, assume, you know, like, you'll take, I mean, the same thing happened to me at work, where, like, a colleague that I barely speak to, she's like, oh, by the way, so I'm moving, and I have a lot of yarn that I don't use, do you want it? And I'm like, yes. And, like, now it's,
our community,
like, I got a huge bag just in a box, and I have another friend,
I kind
back
of love
home
that though.
Who actually like did the same thing where she's like, hey, by the way, like I have all of this yarn for you, and it's like things that were donated to them and they don't know what to do with it. What?
So Vanessa says, my home is where all straight needles from the family come to die.
Yeah. And Sarah says, just do what I do and forget your heavy whips. So then, voila, you have 9 fewer.
There we go. Yeah.
And that is what I do because I forget. If I'm not looking at it, I forget it exists.
But you have such a cool UFO wall.
Which is the result of me not seeing a whip and forgetting it exists. Because now they're on the wall and I can be reminded that I
you'll have to share a photo of this later. It's really cool.
It's really
She's got this wall that she's painted with like a literal UFO alien at the top and the like beam down over the course of the wall. And then there's hooks in it where all the project bags are hanging, and it is chef's kiss.
It is.
You have to share a photo of that later. It's so
I will.
Good. So smart. I'm covered in freaking yak hair or whatever it is.
Mystery fiber.
Wearing a black shirt was not the way to go. I'm freaking that's funny.
Well,
anyway. I just want to finish the shawl.
So you did Just Do It July.
I did Just Do It July. I think I'm gonna do it again.
I'm doing Finish Your Frog for February. And the first example of my Finish Your Frog is actually a frog.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. No. But do you remember the pedal party crop? You'll see
Sarah
it on
says wall of shame.
It's not a wall of shame. It's a wall of inspiration.
Yes.
So the pedal party crop that you started, I started at the same time with Tencel from the same brand.
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
You'll see it in a later video.
You'll see it 2 weeks from now. Or a week from now.
When
we're done editing another video. And I started doing that and took it with us when we went to a knitting retreat in Cuba.
In 2022.
In 2022.
February 2022. To be fair, you did completely forget about it.
I completely forgot I had it, and then like months later, I tried to pick it up, and my dog Bilbo like sat on my lap, and because Tencel is so slippery, the entirety of the lace part came off the needle.
Oh no!
And so I tried to pick it up, but I was really frustrated at it. I put it away, out of sight, forgot it existed. Another year and a half. And this week I found it because I wanted to use the bag for something else. And I was like, oh, the pedal party.
Yep.
So I looked at it and I was like, am I going to finish this or do I just have to frog it and start something else?
Yeah.
And I chose frog. it was just not going to get done. There were too many negative feelings
Yeah.
on that whip. I wasn't going to enjoy it.
If you're not excited to pick it up, you're probably not going to work on it.
And if it's not bringing you fun and joy, then why the heck do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do it.
I can hear who Mary Kondo. If it doesn't bring you joy,
It doesn't spark joy.
It doesn't. I
But
held it up to myself and I said, "Do you spark joy?"
Let's see the yarn.
And it doesn't. So my friend Andy helped me re-ball it up because again I'm marling with tencel, just like Carine.
it's so beautiful though.
It's so beautiful. So it's ready. The
So
needles
nice.
are free now.
Yep.
And I'm ready to cast on something new with this.
Do you have an
tencel.
idea of what you want to make?
I really like the Avid Gardener top.
Ooh, what's that?
It's like a half tunic, half crop top. So it's a little bit
Cute.
cinched at the waist.
Okay.
And it's like a textured top, but it's just like rows of knit and rows of purl.
Cinched at the waist. Is that going to work with tencel?
No, it's not cinched. It's just like more fitted.
Oh, okay.
And then the top is floppy and the side is kind of like open.
Ooh.
So like the inner garment shows a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm interested in that one.
Really cute. That sounds good.
But if y'all have any good suggestions for silky tops,
Yeah. Something structured in the shoulder, not around yoke.
which you will also hear about in our next episode. Yeah. Not yoked.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Tencel just does not support that.
I know.
Those patterns.
I also watched it's probably either Helix or Felix halter top by Jessie May Designs.
I think it's Felix. I think it's the Felix.
Because it has like the drop
stitches.
but
And she's got the long
over.
sleeve version of it too with the bare shoulders. That looks amazing.
I don't know how I feel
the
about
Helix.
the cold shoulders though.
I'm not personally a fan.
You're not?
It doesn't seem practical to me, but I am
Yeah.
not like that.
I don't know. I don't think I have any
Cold shoulder shirts?
cold shoulder shirts, so I was kind of more interested in the halter top.
Honestly, I'd rather show my collarbone than my shoulders, so...
Oh, yeah?
Personal preference.
Okay.
I'd rather it being, like, all the way down here instead of neck and then shoulder.
Yeah.
That's just because I like... Anyway.
So, I don't know. I have
See,
a
I kind
bunch-
of like the shoulder ones.
Yeah.
I kind of like the halter top thing because then I get to show off the arms. Like that, I actually don't mind at all.
Yeah.
But I
I
like
mind a
what it
lot.
like.
You mind a lot?
I mind a lot.
Okay, so no cold shoulder for you. Cold shoulder for you.
Yeah. I don't have any though. I should make some.
Yeah. You should make the Felix halter. That's what you should do.
It's really
Felix or
cute.
Helix.
I really want to do it. I think it would look great in
Because
this
you have
purpley
that other
pink.
one that's the halter... I think, is
Oh
it
my
also
God,
the
yes.
Ripple halter? No, that's not right.
It's the Ripple halter.
Yeah, by Jessie May
Which, by
also,
the way, is
who-
not a halter, because a halter, it has a back.
Yeah.
So
Yes, yeah. So it's like a
tank,
sleeveless?
mock neck, something. Anyway, it's called a halter, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Halter
I'm-
also purple.
I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with Jessie May. I'm just like a big fan.
You can be obsessed. I think we all are a little bit.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She's so good.
Yes.
She's
Her
cool.
patterns.
And her patterns are really suitable for tencel
Mm-hmm.
because they're all like flowy.
Well, that's what
and
you're making.
open
You're making a
fabric.
Jessie May, the outline
Yeah.
tee.
We love you, Jessie May. But I'm open
So
to
Jessie
other
May's Dan account.
suggestions. So if you've worked with tencel or silk before and you have a fingering weight top, because
Yeah.
I definitely know I want it to be a top.
Yeah. It's so perfect in the summer because it's so breezy and drapey
and it's
cool.
cool.
Like temperature cool.
Yeah,
also
yeah.
cool as in like it's cool.
And it's shiny.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway.
I mean, the tops that I've made out of it, I freaking love wearing them in the summer, even if one of them is too big.
It's okay. It's not that big.
But it's like, I think part of it is just that because the neck is so wide, I don't feel comfortable wearing it.
I think
and
it's
that's the
also because
problem.
you were expecting
I
a
was
very
expecting
different
a different
design.
fit. Again,
then
this is
you
something we
just-
get into in the next
Yeah.
video that will be posted. But
It still looks very nice, but
my,
I get it.
My
if
plan
it's
on
not,
that one is to take it out and then either knit the same pattern in a smaller size or knit a completely different pattern. I'll probably knit a completely different pattern.
Have you considered reinforcing the neckline?
Yes.
Like pick up and then recast off?
I don't have any more tencel though. That's the problem.
Oh.
Because I have just a little bit left. I have like a gram left that I could make an I-cord tie in the back to pull the neckline up in the front.
But it wouldn't be enough to pick up and cast off.
No, but it would cause like, I'd pull it up in the front, but it would mean the back would like awkwardly drape down like a cape.
Yeah.
Which is not the look I'm going for, even though I do love a good cape and cloak.
It would be like a reverse cowl neck.
And I'm not a fan of cowls or cowl necks. So
I kind of do like cowl necks.
I don't.
I do.
If I'm going to have something around my neck, I want it to be warm and practical and snug right up against the skin. I don't like loose where air can get in. That seems pointless to me. I don't understand a cowl that does not actually keep you warm because it lets air in. I just don't get it. They're great for layering underneath things. Like I have a couple of cowls that are wider that I'll put underneath a heavier scarf that's close up. Or I'll tie a scarf up close around my neck and then put the cowl over top to keep it tucked in place. But I just don't get it otherwise. I can't do it.
I think it depends on the like fiber, because if it's like this kind of fiber, I can have it touch my neck, no problem. But if it's other types of fiber, like more like wool type, then I get like this like redness.
You've got sensitive skin though.
And,
you do.
Like I still remember,
With
I think
allergies.
it was a year or two ago, I got as a Christmas gift a beautiful like scarf that I still don't know what it's made with. I think
We can do
like,
a
there
burn test.
there was I don't even know if I still have it. There were two
I wanna
or
burn
three
something.
two different
Got you,
like three
girl.
different fibers.
I'm a scientist.
And like I got like such a bad reaction from wearing it just once.
Yeah.
And I never, this was not hand knit, by the way. This was like something that bought in a store, but it was like my whole, this is like a scarf, and I had burns, well not burns, but red marks all the way down like my arms and my like all the way down my chest, and I'm like, how is this possible?
That is uncomfy.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
It's almost 3.
Oh Lord.
Maybe I'll finish the run with what I'm actually working on.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can finish this row too. Which is good.
Again, I'm a starter, not a finisher. So I'm also
There's a joke in there somewhere.
there's a double entendre there somewhere. I'm also working on a Velacor. Wait, hold on.
I love that you're using a color changing yarn.
It's a Sauber ball.
So
So my good friend Angelina gave me this Sauber ball for my birthday.
It's so
in
nice.
2022.
We started this in summer 2023, so yeah, I guess that would make sense.
So yeah, my birthday is in October, so she gave me this Sauber ball in October 2022, and I loved it, but it was so beautiful, and I just had one of them. It almost was too good to do anything with it. Because it was a single one, and I was like, I don't want you to turn into socks. I want to see it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's so pretty. Like, look at the colors. Like, it's
it mimics a
good.
hand spun yarn in that the different plies change color at a different rate. So you end up with this like striping barber pole effect.
So good.
Yeah.
And some of it is heathered.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sauber ball is well known for that.
when we were looking for yarn to work on the Velacor, I thought this was the perfect one because the accent color in the size that I was making only takes 400-ish yards, and I'm a loose knitter anyway, so I know that I was gonna be able to get away with it, and so I paired it with this Illimani
Sabri? Is it the cotton?
No, I think it's the combination cotton with silk merino.
Is that the Sabri or not?
It's mixed. It's a mixed fiber from Illimani.
Great yarn
Really,
brand.
really nice. It's a little bit. They're both a little bit thinner than an actual fingering weight. I would say it's like a heavy lace.
Light fingering, yeah.
Yeah, or a light fingering. There's also another double entendre there somewhere. If you know, you know. So yeah, I'm really liking how it's going out, how it's coming out, but I keep forgetting that it exists because I didn't have my whip wall until very recently.
But you do now.
Oh, I do now.
Yes, you do.
And it's been almost a year since we started the knit along,
We started it in June.
and I'm this far.
June of last
So
year.
I don't know how much further I'm gonna go. Maybe like another inch or so
You can
before
make
I
it
start
cropped.
bringing.
Yeah.
I do want to crop
Yeah, you can.
because this is pretty lofty.
And yeah, the cotton too will grow just
And
a little bit when you block it.
I haven't even steam blocked it to see how much it's gonna grow, but I think I'll do that before I split for the sleeves. So I have a feeling it's going to like split quite
Well,
significantly.
part of the reason you got
Like
frustrated
stretch.
with it too is that you cast on a size too big
Oh,
because
you're
you were
right.
worried about the fit with the cotton, And then you got like 3 inches in and you're like, I'm going to swim in this.
Huge. It was ginormous.
So you took it back. And then you
and
had...
I could see through it like...
It was very much an open
very open.
gauge. And then you also ended up with an accidental extra row of the main color, and you put it down because of that. And you've only just rescued that earlier this week.
Thank you for helping me relive this trauma.
I'm sorry. But that's the thing, right?
But it's just like we have to talk about the process.
It's true,
so that we can learn from it.
That's
and also recognize why things take the time that they do.
I made a lot of mistakes because I was excited to get started because we had the knit along going, and I was like, now let's cast on. And so I forgot to take into account my own knitting style when I was reading the pattern instructions. So I was like, I'm gonna take the stitch count that is recommended, the size that is recommended for my body, the needles that are recommended in the pattern, not taking into account that I am not a tube, and I am also a very loose knitter.
Yep.
And
see,
so
that's very ADHD, guns blazing. Let's just go and not thinking, like
hyperfixation
for
sure, 100%. And that really plays into like the whole thing of me being a starter and not a finisher, because that's why I have like 70,000 whips that I don't remember I have.
Yep.
And so when I make mistakes on something and I'm frustrated and I put them away because I don't want to look at it, I will inevitably forget. So now I learned that I need to go half a size needle down.
Yeah.
Every time I'm starting something.
Yeah.
Because I need to compensate for the fact that the way I hold my yarn and my tension will make for a more open fabric. So that's just a given.
And that's also Andrea Mowry too. Like her gauges tend to be a little bit looser than a lot of other designers.
Yeah.
So her patterns you have to attack differently than say like a Jessie May pattern, who I think is more of a
That's right.
tight knitter? I can't remember.
And I actually still have the other piece.
Oh hey, look at that.
Because it's...
Let's hold them up and see the difference.
Because, hold on. It was too complicated to undo. And I didn't want to.
But now you have backup yarn in case of emergency.
It's so big!
Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's comical.
It's comical how large it is. And I kept it because I'm going to recover the yarn.
Yeah.
To use it for this pattern, like if I need it or for something else.
I just love the way the Zauberball is changing color though.
The Zauberball is
nice.
the perfect yarn for this.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to count your color changes. It just does the work for you.
Yeah, because
I'm lazy.
The pattern I think has like 5 rows of contrast color 1 and then 1 round of contrast color 2 and then 5 rows of contrast, and like you do have to count a lot, and it's easy to count on the pattern, but a lot of yarn management goes into that.
And when you start knitting or crocheting or sewing, you have to come to terms with the fact that a lot of us actually can't count.
Yes.
No,
math and me are not good friends.
Math do not be mathing.
Nope.
And that's all right. We have to make accommodations for ourselves. And my accommodation was use a Zauberball because I was not going to be able to manage the color changes anyway.
There's lots of great counter apps out there in the world, which is what I do. I have a counter app, and when I'm doing repeats or something, I'm like, click 1, click 2, click. It counts for me, so I don't have to.
That's awesome.
So that's the roundup for today, and a big ramble from us.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm at the end of my row. I can actually finally show this the right way.
I love this kind of shawl because you can just go until you are done.
That's the point of the pattern. Like it's a giant triangle, even though you can't tell.
It's so cute.
It's so far out of screen. But yeah, it will eventually be like that's the work. This is the working edge, and then when I get to the end of the ball, I'll just bind it off, and then it'll be a big giant boomerang triangle.
A tiny little bobbin.
Yeah, because I was the leftover of this color. I'm so ready for this to be done.
It's looking really good.
It looks really good.
Part of the reason why I haven't finished it is that I really don't like these needles.
Oh.
So they're gonna go
they're
into
aluminum.
Well, I love aluminum, but I don't like the cable that they're on. It's a solid, like, unmovable plastic.
Oh, one of those.
Anyway, they're going in the community bank, so if anybody wants them later, they're welcome to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have another video for you 2 weeks from now.
We're still determining how we want to go about that. We're
still determining that, but for sure 2 weeks from now you'll hear from us.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
Yeah.
We're so happy you're here.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe.
Oh my god, that's
Join
so
us
cool.
next time. I know, I've been watching a lot of YouTube bloggers so that I can, like, get into the vibe.
Emulate that energy.
Yeah. Like and subscribe, hit the bell, find out more, follow us on Instagram.
And also, we love questions.
Yes.
Like we said before, we can
Yeah.
really shut up about
questions,
dating.
comments, suggestions. Just
Yeah.
go
yeah.
nuts.
And
Ask
tell us
us-
how you like this setup versus last week's setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
We're
little
still-
closer.
We're figuring out what we like.
Yeah.
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 Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Yay.
Yay.
That was so fun.
I made a little outro.
That's really cute. I love that.
Isn't it? It says, thanks for watching.
That's
It
so
was
cute.
So good.
Pujito, you didn't throw up today. I'm so
Good
proud
for you.
Muchas gracias,
I'm so
Pujito.
proud of you. Good boy.
He's like, I snored. That's it.
You snored.
He was very quiet. He was very, very quiet, actually.
I think he felt chastened.
Yeah, he did it.
Episode 2.
This actually